Shalom. Shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, and glory going to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to all you occupants out there pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity by way of the highways and byways, going out in the streets, teaching and preaching. And also by way of the internet, to you I say shalom, and shalom to you, Aqua. You very few sisters is out there listening and learning. This is your brother Nayab, and I'm back with another news update. So it's for fair use, fair use, fair use, and for educational purposes only. Again, for fair use, fair use, fair use, and for educational purposes only. When there will be going into this, I will address a couple issues. So I'm just letting you know, but only throughout like maybe just like one or two videos, and that's it. All right. So without further ado, let's go. Educational purposes only. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
I think what Trump is finding out is that the Iranians are tough guys too. And, Netanyahu can pull the wool over the eyes of his public by continuing to censor the actual results of the Iranian strikes, but he can't pull the wool over the eyes of the president, who knows damn well what was hit inside Israel. And I believe there's going to be a give and take where Trump is going to say, you got hit pretty hard. And now you want to talk about going back to these guys and continue to strike these guys, but they have a hell of a punch. What are we going to do when they punch back and we don't have the ability to defend? It turns out I think they just found out 97 THAAD missiles, very expensive advanced interceptor missiles, were fired during these 12 days, depleting the American stock, bankrupting the American taxpayer. They don't grow on trees, these interceptors. And Trump will say to Netanyahu, where do you think this stuff's going to come from to defend you? How do you plan on defending yourself? And to what end are we doing this? So I think there's going to be some pretty tough discussions behind the scenes. And the other thing that Trump is going to tell Benjamin Netanyahu is you need to clean up, get your act together at home. You're on trial. I can only post so many social media postings out there threatening sanctions against Israel if they continue to pursue this. But before you talk about going to war with Iran and continuing this fight in Gaza, maybe you need to solidify your domestic political base at home so that if we do side with you, you don't get swept away and then I have to deal with somebody else. This is a very complicated situation here. Netanyahu is trying once again to wrap himself in the flag of the United States of America so that he can sell himself as an American-backed savior of Israel to the Israeli public, who increasingly is finding that lie a very difficult, spoon of poison to swallow. I think what Trump is finding out is
right now. Starting July 15th, YouTube is introducing a new program, and a lot of people are not going to get paid anymore. YouTube will only pay creators who use their real voice and produce original content. For example, some content that's no longer allowed: reused content, copied content, low-effort uploads, fully AI-generated videos. So that means those ASMR videos could no longer be monetized. Those faceless YouTube channels you see advertised like all the time, on TikTok especially, they're cooked. And the people that are starting to make like AI videos, well, they're cooked too. Another example of those low-effort uploads could be reaction channels. This one I don't mind too much because there is some lazy reaction channels out there who literally don't even have commentary, they just stare at the screen. I have mixed feelings about this. I mean, some of them, I think it's not a bad deal at all. I mean, fully AI generated videos, I could low-key understand, but low effort uploads, some people could get cooked by mistake.
This motherfucking truck, bro. Did y'all hear the leak audio? This nigga said Moscow and Beijing. Both of them? Damn. I'm scared, nigga. Bro, Iran was one thing, bro. Good thing the army weak, nigga. They can't reach us. But China? Russia? Trump, you good, man. You good. I know Fugazi comes back. He writes, do you believe, as the other Hebrew Israelites believe, that God is racist and there will be a hierarchy in heaven based solely on race? And the Israelites will be at the top of the hierarchy.
See, he's laughing, but that's biblical. First of all, we're God's chosen people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. His first one was, is God racist? You know, well, let's find out. You know, let's shall we find out? This is Second Esdras, all right, chapter 6 and verse 54. All right, it says, and after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. All right, there you go. The Lord not dealing with other nations. I'll give you another one. Okay, this is Isaiah. 2 seconds. This is Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 17. It says, all nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. All right, let's get another one. One of my favorites. All right. You know, I can go on with this all day. This is Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. You know, let me get this. This is Deuteronomy. It's another. I love this one. I like this. You know, I love these scriptures in general, but this is Deuteronomy chapter 26 and verse. I start at 16. This day the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. Make sure this is cool. It says, this day the Lord thy God hath commanded thee to do these statutes and judgments. Thou shalt therefore keep and do them with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Thou hast avouched the Lord this day to be thy power, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice. It says, and the Lord have avouched thee this day to be his peculiar people, all right, as he have promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments, and to make thee high above all nations, which he hath made in praise, and in name, and in honor, and that thou mayest be an holy people unto the Lord thy God, as he hath spoken. All right, so you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are, all right, God's chosen people, and he chose you to rule. All right. I wanted to grab another one. Let me see. This is Daniel 7 and 18. It says, but the saints of the Most High, which are the Israelites, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever. All right, even forever and ever. Let me grab this in Isaiah chapter 14 in verse 1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them, make sure this is cool, and set and set them in their own land. All right, this is what's coming. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, so we're going to be ruling over the people that put us in captivity, which is Esau, the so-called white man. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, this is Psalms 149 and 5. Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to get to the point because let the video play. In verse 7, Psalms 149 and 7, to execute vengeance, all right, upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints, praise ye the Lord. All right, so yes, you heathen nations, all right, this outside of the nation of Israel, all right, you other heathen nations, you Chinese, Japanese, Arabs, Edomites, you know, especially Esau, Edom, you're going into captivity, all right, period, and we're going to possess the kingdom forever and ever. Thus saith the Bible. So we can continue. I just made all the points right there. God has a chosen people above every other, and he don't like no other people. He caught them a spittle, and that we're going to be ruling in the kingdom of heaven. I just read it.
Peace and saints, good interview, work. I appreciate you. Yes. I say God is racist. It's hierarchy. Talk to me. To my brother No Fugazi podcast, shout out to him again. Once again, like I said, I like a lot of his content. But I will say this: when we think of the kingdom of heaven, we're thinking about this mystical, magical place that's up in the sky where our grandmothers and grandfathers have gone when they passed away. When you read the kingdom of heaven, it's actual government, rulership. Right now, the white man is in rulership. This is his government, all right? The United States of America, so on and so forth. When you start talking about the kingdom of God is going to consist with the Israelites being in that rulership. We would no longer be the base of society. We would no longer be struggling. We would no longer have to fight and claw to get to where we want to be. We will be the elite. We will be the ruling class. And other races, just like today, other races will be in subjugation to us, meaning what? They're not going to rule over us like they do right here, right now. And the scripture he's referencing, I'm going to show it real quick in the book of Isaiah, which is in the Old Testament, but it's a future prophecy. Chapter 14, verse 1. It says, for the Lord will have mercy on...
And I already read it. All right. So, you know, he laughs at it, but it's the truth. You know? And you 2/3 who think it's funny, you know, you're going to die on this side by the second death. All right. Which has to do with the ICBM missiles and what the world ignorantly call these UFOs. You know, you're going to be destroyed by them. And that's where it is. By pestilence, by plagues, you're going to be destroyed. All right? So it just is what it is, man.
Jacob, and will yet choose.
Atlanta flash flood.
It is really going crazy. What? It is flooded in 2 minutes. Reporting live.
Can I get a wall?
I want to keep the focus on the Mid-Atlantic. This is a live look at Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Tropical depression.
And also with that, just going back on going back on them precepts and stuff like that, these people really don't realize that there's chaos coming and people are going to have to be subjugated to us. And once that truth is magnified, of course it's going to come persecution and stuff like that, but they're going to know who the true men of the Lord is, and it's just going to be flat out. It's either that you're going to believe it or you're not going to believe it. If you don't, you're still going to die. You know what I'm saying? Let's say if you do believe it, but you like, no, I don't want to be a part of it. Well, the Lord got something different for you. You're going to be made a part of it because it's his movie at the end of the day.
Chantel, it hit the area days ago, and now the Tar Heel State is bracing for more rain. Let's go live there with Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell. She's live in Chapel Hill with a closer look at the situation. As those storms are getting close to you, how have folks been faring from Chantel over the weekend?
Kiana, they are just still working to recover. It's been very active today, as it's just been a couple of days since everything happened on Sunday night with Tropical Storm Chantel. So right now, you're seeing some of the damage along the Bowling River right here, but even to a residential community right there. As we just take a look across this creek, I should say, you can see some of the vehicles that were damaged. But look, the storms that we are getting today, it's not good news. Again, considering the damage that people are having to clean up, the National Weather Service, they have issued a level 3 out of 4 flood risk, as slow-moving storms could drop 2 to 5 inches of rain in some spots in just a 6-hour time frame today. Now, I want to show you this video, this one on Sunday, showing water rescue teams just treading through flood water in the Winston-Salem area due to Chantal. And it's the reason the Piedmont and Sandhills of North Carolina is already waterlogged, and extra rainfall could lead to additional flooding of creeks, streams, and low-lying areas. In another video actually taken here in Chapel Hill, firefighters performed water rescues as well in terrible flooding conditions. You can just see there's pretty much a current that they're working against. Chantel dropped over 10 inches of rain here in Chapel Hill, leading up to 5 feet of flooding in some spots. It was also a deadly storm. Fox Weather has confirmed at least 4 people were killed between Chatham and Orange County. And some of those individuals, they were driving in the storm, and some of them were actually on Jordan Lake. Now here today we met Mr. Robert Gilly. He's a resident here who was impacted by the flood. He says this is the 4th time his unit at Camelot Village has been flooded since he moved here 6 years ago. Management here confirmed to me just over 60 units were impacted. Take a listen.
I've been here so long, I'm used to watch it come up and then go down and not really flood as bad as it did this time. But this time it just kept rising. They got us out pretty quick and in an orderly fashion. Everybody was all right and everybody was safe. So that was the main thing. A lot of damage, but, everybody was safe.
And businesses were also impacted. According to the Chamber for the Greater Chapel Hill, Carborough, businesses at Eastgate Crossing and University Place flooded along with nearly 200 vehicles. I met Mrs. Cinderella Rigsby. She's the owner of the shoe repair around the Eastgate Crossing in Chapel Hill. At 82 years old, she's normally there working almost every day of the week until this happened. In the 10 years since she's taken over that business, she's gone through a flood about 3 times, but this has been the worst yet. Right now, she's getting help from family and working side by side with neighboring businesses to get everyone cleaned up as they figure out how insurance can help. She thought back to when she first learned of this flood.
My daughter told Mama, said, they said Eastgate done got flooded out down there very bad. So when I got him, tears came in my eyes. I said, oh my God. That's what I said. And
More rain, more flooding is going to be likely today. When we stare at an outlook like this, the one we're showing you, it's something that you need to pay attention to, especially if you or someone you know lives in the mid-Atlantic, because some of this rain could fall well after sunset, similar to what we saw in Chicago. And let's hope that the outcome is the same, where we're not dealing with injuries or the loss of life. Water rescues, though, occurring in Chicago could maybe be a bit of foreshadowing for what we might get in the mid-Atlantic later this evening if the storms do end up producing.
Breaking news, if you make under $120,000 a year, your federal income taxes will be canceled. J.D. Vance's vote sealed the deal on Trump's massive tax overhaul, and it's not what anyone expected. This isn't another stimulus check or temporary relief. Trump just rewrote America's entire tax code. Who wins? Big Uber drivers keeping every dollar, restaurant workers. No more tax withholding single moms, raising kids alone, self-employed hustlers, building dreams, part-time workers, juggling multiple jobs, all completely tax-free. Starting now, the numbers are staggering. 47 million Americans will never file federal taxes again. Average families keeping an extra $5,400 every single year. That's real money in real pockets. Trump's message was crystal clear. Biden throws money at problems. I let you keep what you earned. Critics are panicking about the revenue hole, but working families are celebrating because for once the system finally works for them. What do you think? Game changer or disaster waiting to happen? Breaking news, if you make under one...
Yesterday's exchange with Trump shocked and angered me. I never thought I would be insulted like this in an international setting. I understand his arrogance. He impatiently asked for speed up many times in the meeting, but he pretended to be surprised, even though he knew that English is our official language. Discrimination and prejudice against our country is too great. Seems to have tacitly agreed that African countries should not have language skills and that we should not have development. But he was disappointed. We have our own long history and culture. We receive education on our own land and master the official language of English. This is normal, but Trump, as a leader of a country, deliberately repeated praise to me with a racially prejudiced attitude. The sarcastic tone and ignorant sense of superiority made me feel extremely disgusted. This is too arrogant.
We'll have to invade. It's coming. The way we see it, it's coming. It's just a fence separates them from owning or from using that grass. And the way they are looking at white people these days, the whites themselves are saying, the eyes are saying, time is up. Time is up.
Johan is a descendant of one of the roughly 30,000 Germans that stayed in Namibia after German colonization ended in 1915. This white population live in enclaves of relative luxury, fencing out the majority black population from land they claim is theirs. Germans here are sealed off from most Namibians socially, and despite having been here for generations, they usually don't speak any of the indigenous languages.
If I meet a young guy here on the farm, I talk to him English, because I knew he had English at school. If I talk to an older guy, I talk Afrikaans.
Okay, but you don't speak Oshavambo, I guess.
No, only a few words.
There could not be a greater contrast between whites here, who own up to 50% of agricultural land, but they make up less than 1% of the population.
I'm in the Rijksmuseum right now in Amsterdam. I'm in a room that is covered with ship models and model ships. Many of these are from the Dutch golden age of, quote-unquote, golden age of exploration, trading, and colonization. One ship in particular that caught my attention was this tall-masted white ship.
I say this video, because I remember Elder Bishop, I believe, Manatazak, channel name, Jacob Barak 2. I know he go in heavy on the Dutch side of the, when it comes to this, like, like this, being sold into slavery and stuff like that. So I figured this was a pretty interesting interesting tape, you know, or video, you know, just for like educational whatever purposes. Of course, this is for educational purposes only. But I figured this would be a good video to share to to you brothers.
In the center of this exhibit display, there's a small plaque in a dark corner of the museum that explains what this ship is. The extra wide hull and the extra tall masts identify this as a Dutch merchant ship specializing in the trade of enslaved people. The ship is named as the White Elephant, de Witte Olifant, and it was specifically designed for African slave trade. And the most disturbing part about this ship is the tall masts. You can see that from all of the other ships in the display. That one has clearly the highest and tallest masts for the largest sails. The reason that it needed those sails was to go as fast as possible across the Atlantic because the human beings would die. Even with these ships being the most high speed of any of the Dutch ships at the time, still close to 1/4 of the human beings on board who were being brought across the Atlantic as enslaved workers would die in the crossing. The fact that these new...
You got to remember too, the northern tribe first went into captivity. Okay, on them, basically like on them same ships, and then it was Jake after, so.
Ships were designed faster with bigger and taller masts for this explicit purpose really shows us the fallacy at the root of the saying capitalism breeds innovation. Because really...
I don't know what happened to my apartment. When I left, it was intact, but there is a fire in the building. Maybe it will burn down before the firefighters extinguish it. You can see the fire flaring up.
All right, guys, we have some breaking news happening right now. A tunnel collapse in Wilmington, Los Angeles, leaving 24 people working, construction workers on this industrial site, trapped. Now, the incident took place at an industrial work site around 8 p.m., and the Los Angeles Fire Department has since deployed all of its urban search and rescue teams to free the 28 people stuck under the rubble. 28! Now, to make matters worse, the victims have not yet been heard from, as it appears the collapse damaged the communication lines in the area. Now, this rescue is going to be incredibly tricky. The only access to the tunnel is as much as 6 miles away from the response area, according to the Los Angeles Fire Department. Now, this work site is near the intersection of West Lomita Boulevard and South Figueroa Street. And as of right now, more than 100 LA Fire Department rescuers were on scene as of about 5 minutes ago. This story's still developing. Like the video, comment down below. Don't forget to follow me. Talk to you later. All right, guys.
I'm dying. It's a fact.
There's no need for a doctor to tell me. That farewell performance was something I insisted on doing. I don't want to disappear silently. I have to say goodbye in person. I thought spinal surgery could save me, but it turned out to be even worse. The combination of nerve damage, infection, and Parkinson's disease crushed me. During the 3 months after the surgery, I was almost a useless person, and even flipping over hurt like a knife. Nowadays, people have to push wheelchairs wherever they go. I regret having that surgery, but no one told me at the time that keeping it as it is might be better. It's not those doctors who keep me alive, but Sharon, that woman who supported my messy life. She knew how terrible I was when I was young. She should have dumped me countless times, but never left. I can't...
Boo-hoo, nigga.
What the fuck is this shit now? 50 migrants a week could be sent back to France in a one-in, one-out deal. What the fuck is this, the hokey-cokey? Prime Minister Rodney and Emmanuel Macron are currently holding talks at Downing Street to discuss a deal for the UK to send some migrants who cross the channel on small boats back to France. This is where it just turns into absolute dog shit. For every migrant sent back, so for every migrant we send back to France, France would send an asylum seeker to the UK. What the fuck? And possibly one with a family connection to Britain. This is absolute dog shit. Literally just taking fucking advantage of us. Constantly taking fucking advantage. Fucking one in, one out. 50 a week. 50 a week. It's going to be capped at 50 a week. And we're not... I don't fucking understand this shit. The only time anything's going to fucking really change, I think we have to take this matter into our own hands. Maybe we need to patrol the fucking borders and security at the fucking borders by the people themselves. We shouldn't have to fucking do this. We are constantly taking a piss. For fuck's sake.
Are you all hearing what's happening in Idaho right now? Because some firefighters were just ambushed earlier today while responding to a brush fire on Canfield Mountain. And according to local authorities, they came under fire from a gunman hidden in the woods. Let that sink in. Firefighters are out there trying to stop a blaze were shot at. A shelter-in-place alert was issued for nearby neighborhoods, and the search area was expanded to parts of Hayden Lake and 15th Street. Police and even the U.S. Marshals are on the ground, setting up a command post and investigating what could be a targeted ambush. Is this a terrorist attack? Let me know in the comment section below, because this is getting wild. One detail that's especially chilling is they're looking into whether the fire was set intentionally just to lure first responders in. Now, the story is still developing, but if you're in the area, stay alert, stay safe, and follow.
Our hidden cameras caught employees with the LA Homeless Services Authority throwing cases of taxpayer-funded food right into the dumpster. Food that's supposed to go to the homeless, now going in the trash. You can see it here just come pouring out of the box. And not just once or twice. It's a sandwich, an apple, and water. But despite the tens of thousands of homeless going hungry on the streets of LA, no one got to eat this food. Jay Handel chairs the Homeless Committee for the LA Neighborhood Councils.
This is an absolute disgrace. It's a theft of taxpayer dollars.
For months, we watched LASA employees picking up cases of food to give out to those less fortunate. These are outreach workers. They're supposed to spend their days interacting with the thousands of homeless in LA. The aim, according to LASA administrators, is for them to use the food as an opportunity to build trust in the hopes of convincing them to accept government services and housing and get them off your streets.
Amazon has recently laid off 26,000 workers, and they have replaced them with robots. And it's getting too much. It's getting to a point where things are entirely expensive. How do y'all expect people to pay their bills when you're replacing us with robots? How? I just need...
And something big is brewing. The United States just ordered embassy personnel and military families to evacuate Iraq. CENTCOM bases are activating emergency protocols. And why is this all happening? Well, I guess the nuclear talks with Iran have collapsed. Tehran's calling negotiations a strategic trap, demanding permanent sanction relief while reinforcing underground nuclear sites. This isn't peacekeeping, it's war prepping, folks, and it gets worse. Iran's defense minister just warned they have access to U.S. bases and will strike if provoked. Meanwhile, satellite intel says Israel may be gearing up to bomb Iran's nuclear facilities.
Oh no, not the grasshoppers. Listen here, get the motherless the fuck up out of here.
Now this is the video that I was talking about. This is the last video too that I didn't tell you all about, but this is just a video I just hurry up and put on here. It says all 3 detainees told their wives that the bugs were getting inside. One of them saying that grasshoppers the size of his head were springing into the tent. Which, that shit not funny, you know? Imagine you down there, you get one plate of food, you know, probably just basically maggots and leftover scraps, GMOs, basically a steel plate of shit, you know? Probably barely even get water and stuff like that, hot as fuck, big ass mosquitoes and shit. But you got this roly-poly ass motherfucker that's laughing about it. I don't see shit funny, because let it be the so-called white man going through this. This is why the so-called white man is going into slavery, man.
They're complaining how a little old mosquito fucking zapped them in their fucking head and bit them. Yo, listen. You know where people should be protesting? About the prison system. You know how it is to be in state prison? Rats, mice, shitting in your food, right? The nasty ass fucking rooms that they gotta be in, no air conditioning. These fucking people that broke into the country, committed murders and every other fucking thing, right? Get treated better than our own prisoners that half of them don't even belong there.
That's not true. You know, half of the people that's even inside of these places don't deserve to be inside them. So who is your fat, roly-poly, Caucasian, Edomite ass, red devil ass to be justifying and knowing the way of how somebody gets punished, you know? These are so-called Mexicans, all right? This coming into this place, this coming into this country. How can they be coming to this country illegal if, first of all, you're the illegal one? The so-called white man is the illegal person being here. He is the alien. And also, he is the alien that's in Israel, our land. Okay? So, again, you might want to recess about what you said. You see, when you able to just live off of fucking hoagies, bread, pizza, get your fucking face fat in a bitch, you could barely move and shit, and then you want to talk about the prison system, you know? How about this? This is way worse, man. This is a place where they take you will never be able to have contact to your people again, nothing like that. You in the middle of fucking nowhere with alligators and fucking all kinds of bugs, mosquitoes, maggots in the food, and you talking about this is just easy? Yeah, okay.
They're there for fucking criminal offenses that are straight up lies.
They didn't even commit, man. These people right here didn't commit, you know? But they're talking about the people, they talking about Jake that's in the regular system. Man, fuck off. With that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory going to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Kakadash. Till next time, Shalom.